BFM 부산영어방송.
오늘 부산 지역 미세먼지
Air quality in Busan is currently rated bad.
High fine dust concentrations are
Taking a look
expected
at the
today.
Fine dust level is getting higher. So, this is what we can do to protect ourselves from the growing level of fine dust. First, check out the fine dust level before you go out and make sure to wear a mask when the fine dust level is high. Also, don't forget to wash your hands when you return home. Even if the fine dust is not visible, it doesn't mean your hands are clean enough. Lastly, follow the alternate no driving system to reduce the fine dust from cars. These are very simple yet powerful ways to protect ourselves from the fine dust. Let's all take part in this campaign and stay healthy. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산영어방송.
During the span of 1,023 days, from August 18, 1950, 2 months after the Korean War had begun, until August 15, 1953, when the Korean government was re-established in Seoul, the city of Busan had served as the provisional capital. The president and government officials, soldiers and civilians had all made their way down to Busan to avoid the war. A city of 400,000 quickly turned into a city of 1 million. Since then, 8 places, which include the Provisional Government Building, the Busan Modern History Museum, and the UN Memorial Park, have been listed as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. In 2025, the list of World Heritage Sites will be finalized by UNESCO. Korea, one of the last remaining divided countries in the world, and the city of Busan, once the provisional capital, still value and send out that same message of peace. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM Busan 영어방송.
The time is now 2 o'clock.
Welcome to BFM News at 2. I'm David Kim. The government reaffirmed its commitment to medical reform despite opposition from doctors emphasizing the need for cooperation. Health Minister Jo Kyu-hong urged the doctors' groups to present unified proposals based on science and logic instead of renegotiating the medical school admissions quota increase. He expressed hope for breakthroughs, highlighting the government's decision to allow adjustments for the 2025 academic year. Additionally, Minister Jo called on doctors' groups to participate in the upcoming Presidential Special Committee on Medical Reform, although some associations have declined involvement. The main opposition Democratic Party and its affiliated party, the Democratic Alliance, are initiating the merging procedure. The leadership of the sister party intended to convene a meeting this morning to initiate this process. Those who won proportional representation seats under the Democratic Alliance in the elections will revert to their original parties, which include the Jimbo Party, the Basic Income Party, and the Social Democratic Party. The 2 winners who ran as candidates of the affiliated party based on recommendations from civic groups will either join the DP or choose alternative parties as per their preferences. The satellite party of the DP secured 14 seats in the parliamentary elections. In local news, the Busan Early Childhood Education and Development Institute will hold the Family Love Connection Festival for 1,000 children aged 3 to 5. Parents and others at the Dadepo Early Childhood Education Promotion Center and Cheolma Children's Play Experience Center on May the 5th. At the Dadepo venue, participants can enjoy indoor experiential play areas, alley play programs, and magic laser shows and taekwondo performances. They'll also carry out various hands-on craft experiences such as making bead bracelets, family caricatures, gardening experiences, and chalk art. The 2024 Busan One Asia Festival BOF Park concert will be held at 6:30 p.m. on June the 9th at Bukgu Hwamyeong Ecological Park. The park concert is an outdoor music festival where people of all ages can sit on mats together to relax in nature and music, and it'll be held free of charge. This concert is scheduled to be filled with four-color vocal music, including Melomangs, Paul Kim, Jeokjae, and Im Byul. The city of Busan said today that they have opened an all-inclusive one-stop service webpage, the www.busangood.co.kr, to support the expansion of subcontracting in the Busan area. This webpage provides information on this year's construction order plans, recommendations for collaborative companies, and construction-related data. The city explained that they opened the webpage as a plan to expand subcontracting orders, aiming to overcome the crisis faced by local construction companies in Busan, experiencing recent construction downturns and difficulties in fund procurement, and to operate it in cooperation with construction-related associations. In international news, the White House has criticized the statements made during students' protest against the Gaza war, calling them blatantly anti-Semitic. Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates affirmed the students' right to peaceful demonstration, but strongly condemned any advocacy or for violence or intimidation aimed at Jewish students. Over 100 students were detained at Columbia University in New York during this week's protests, which escalated after law enforcement disbanded a protest encampment on the campus. And now taking a quick look at the weather here. It's currently 16 degrees Celsius under cloudy skies. Fine dust and ultrafine dust particle levels have been normalized to healthy levels thanks to the rain. The mercury will remain cool, peaking around 18 degrees Celsius today before gradually falling to 13 degrees Celsius tonight. And that'll have to do it for this hour's news. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to BFM Busan 영어방송.
Your best choice. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Coming up next is Steve Hatherly Reboot with Steve Hatherly. BFM Busan 영어방송.
What you're about to hear is amazing. That's because you're locked in to Busan's #1 English radio station. Whether you're at home, at work, or driving in your car, you will be exposed to radio excellence. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show because it starts right now.
Have you ever heard that expression, "This is why we can't have nice things"? Oh, I heard that a lot growing up. It means that when we do have nice things, we don't treat them with respect or work hard to take care of them. Well, those words exactly are ringing true in Hawaii as we speak, and I will tell you why today. It's Monday, April 22nd, 2024. I'm Steve Hatherly. This is Steve Hatherly Reboot. Let's go. That was Sia and Kylie Minogue, Dance Alone, and that is a self-empowerment dance pop track where Kylie joins Sia to celebrate self-discovery and liberation. They sing about finding power in their own company, embracing independence and individuality, even when their partners ditch them. This is the second time they've collaborated. Back in 2014, Sia was the executive producer on Kylie's Kiss Me Once album. Ooh, not just a track, but an album. Dancing Alone. Dancing alone is better than dancing with someone else. Sometimes, I guess, right? Depending on your mood, depending on how crazy you want to dance. Sometimes, you know, when you're home alone, nobody else around, you can turn the music up loud. Maybe when you're doing some cleaning, something like that. That makes it a little bit more fun, doesn't it? Good one to get us going today. I am live in the studio from Busan on this Monday afternoon. Welcome to the show, everyone. You're tuned in on BEFM 90.5 in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Zhongguan, and Noksan areas. In Seoul on TBS EFM 101.3 and in Gwangju on GFM 98.7. Thank you very much for being with me today. Chilly day here in Busan. We had some great warm weather as of late, but today's on the cooler side. The rain, I guess, cooling things down. But maybe we can take it, not complain too much, because the air is cleaner now than it was. Goodness me. Those 2 days, it only lasted 2 days, and the rain kind of cleared it all out, thankfully. But that was a tough 2 days. Even if you don't have allergies, that was no fun at all. And if you washed your car before, like I did, well, then sorry about that. But it seems like it's behind us now, which is really, really good news. And hopefully it'll be gone until next year, this time, when we will complain about it again, undoubtedly. Let's see. What else can we talk about today? Oh, I watched an amazing show. My wife and I binged a show yesterday. Now, let me say this first. I can't recommend this to everyone because the content matter of the show is quite mature. But this is the show on the flicks that everybody is talking about right now. Have you seen it? It's called Baby Reindeer. The rating is 100%. It is so good. But again, I can't recommend this to everybody. Do not watch this with your children. No question about that. Napi just Googled baby reindeer, and it's just a lot of pictures of small reindeer on his screen. There, he's got the proper one up now. This is a show about a stalker. It's about a woman who meets a man in a bar. She's a customer. He's the bartender. And it starts off in a very innocent way, and then things spiral out of control. So this is a very, very dark show. And again, I want to repeat this again. I'm not recommending this to everyone. It's very mature content. But if you don't mind that type of show, or if you do enjoy that type of show, then I have to say, this is one of the better shows that I've seen in a very, very long time. The acting is spectacular. It couldn't be better, in my opinion. The writing was very clever, and this is based on a true story as well. That's what it said at the beginning of the show, and then I searched it afterwards to see how accurate this was, and yeah, this is the story of something that happened to a man in Scotland. And there you go. We were planning on watching maybe one episode yesterday. We watched the whole thing. We both had work to do in the afternoon, and that work got delayed until nighttime because we couldn't stop watching that show. One last time, I'll say it. It's not for everyone. It's a very dark, very mature show. But if you don't mind that type of topic, or if you enjoy it, that is my recommendation for you today. If you've seen it, let me know what your thoughts were on watching it. We thought it was fantastic. We very well acted indeed. All right, let's get into it. Go to youtube.com, search BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. You can watch our live stream there. And you can do so until the songs start to play. Well, when they start to play, you can still listen to the music through the live stream, but the audio quality won't be perfect. The team's working on that right now. every single day, as a matter of fact, to get you a better audio quality product. But it's not perfected just yet. So if that's not okay, you can open up your BEFM app, or you can listen through FM radio as well. And that's how you can get the whole package there. That's all because of music copyright issues. We do apologize for that. We appreciate your patience. We appreciate your understanding on the matter as well. All right, so there you go. That's how you can watch our live stream today. And now let's talk about what's on the show. We'll kick things off in hour number one with Hot Off the Press, as we always do, where you can check out some of the newest, hottest tracks from the world of music. I'll give you some information about the artists and about the songs as well. After that, around 2:30 or so, Casey will be in the studio for today's Need to Know. And when Casey comes in, he brings some under-the-radar news stories from outside the mainstream media, but are still very important to us. We'll find out what Casey's going to be talking about in, like I said, about 15 minutes' time. He'll stay with me until the end of the first hour. Then in hour number two, we're going to switch our focus over to Hawaii. Oh, it's one of my favorite places that I've been to. Have you been before? I've been a couple of times. This is the meeting place for my parents and myself a couple of times, because if you look at the world map, Nova Scotia in Canada and Korea, they are basically on the other side of the world from each other. It's almost exactly on the other side of the world. So as my parents got older, it was a little bit more difficult for them to travel to Korea, because it's a tough trip. It's a tough trip to come from Nova Scotia to Korea. It involves flight transfers and really long-haul flights as well. I think the longest leg is from Vancouver, and that's like 10 or 11 hours. And then you've got to get from Vancouver on the west coast of Canada all the way to the east coast of Canada. And I think if you fly direct, then that's maybe a 7-hour flight. So you're looking at 17 hours, 18 hours in the air to come from Nova Scotia to Korea. And conversely, the other way around. Of course, there are a lot of different routes that you can take. Anyway, my point is, because it was so far, oftentimes, a couple of times, I should say, we met in Hawaii because it was kind of like a halfway point, and it's also just a delightful place to meet up with somebody, isn't it? And then my wife and I went there on our own. We had a wonderful trip there as well. So we go to Hawaii because of the story for me, myself, and I today. Let me talk about that first. So the staircase in Oahu, it's a big tourist attraction in Hawaii. People love to go there. They love to climb it. They love to take pictures. Well, the bad news is, because of tourist behavior, bad tourist behavior, that attraction is going to be removed. That is really, really sad news. And we're going to talk about that for me, myself, and I. And I thought it fit into that segment because of human behavior, right? Tourists. Sometimes when we visit other people's homes, other people's places, we forget how to behave properly, don't we? So that's going to be our topic for me, myself, and I today. But before that, I thought we could learn a fun little mystery story about Hawaii. Now, I learned this a few years ago on the show that I was doing in Seoul. And one of the guests on the show, his name was Jonah, and he was from Hawaii. And he did like a mystery segment. And one day he brought in this mystery story from Hawaii. Have you ever heard about this? Hawaii's Lady in White. This is a ghost that appears to people in Hawaii when the weather is particularly foggy. Now, Jonah, he talked about it on air, and he swore it happened to him. He met the lady in white. He met the ghost. And off air, I said, "You're just kidding, right? You know, telling a story for the radio." He said, "No, that honestly happened to me. I'm not, everybody thinks I'm always joking about it. Really happened to me." Wow. I said, he was being serious at the time, and I know he wouldn't lie. So I'll tell you the story of the lady in white, Hawaii's haunting legend at Pali Highway. Really a haunting tale. That'll be our fun fact. Then we'll stay in Hawaii, as I mentioned, for the stair removal story. So it'll be kind of a Hawaii theme in hour number 2 today, a little bit. We'll also have perfect playlist, the best songs for every situation, and I'll check your messages throughout the program as well. All right, so here's my question for you today. Well, since we're telling that story of bad tourist behavior, let's go over some tips on how to be a good tourist. What do you think about that? When we are in someone else's city or someone else's country, what's a good tip to be a good or smart tourist? A good tourist or a smart tourist today? I'm looking for your tips on how to achieve that goal. Joan Guang, this is the hardest word. You know, this is the hardest word in Korean for me. Is this hard for Korean people to say too? Guang Gek. That's tourist. 좋은 관광객이 되기 위한 팁은 무엇인가요? Let me try that one more time. 좋은 관광객이 되기 위한 팁은 무엇인가요? Let me know what you think on that topic. Good tips to be a smart tourist or a good tourist. Pounder sharp 9050 for 101. You can text me that way. You can get in touch for free on Kakao Talk. Search BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. Same search on your smartphone. You can download the app from any of the app stores. And from there, you can listen to our shows and you can leave us a comment after logging in. All right, we'll take a break and be back with today's Hot Off the Press. Here's Alex Warren, Before You Leave Me.
Darling, handle me with care, color me in bubble wrap. I'm scared you really mean it, that you're never coming back. See your bag right by the stairs, I guess you already packed. No, I can't change your mind, but how could you just leave like that? I'm not ready to let you go. So just give me one more night, hold me like you're still mine. Oh, love me for right now before you leave me. I know it's gonna hurt watching your footsteps start. So love me for right now before you leave me. Oh, love me for right now before you leave me. Oh, love me for right now. I'm so used to getting damaged, and you know I hate this part. So I gotta take advantage of a fully broken heart. Won't you stay a little longer, even if it's all pretend? And maybe by the morning I'll be ready for the end. I'm not ready to let you go. So just give me one more night, hold me like you're still mine. Oh, love me for right now before you leave me. I know it's gonna hurt watching your footsteps start. So love me for right now before you leave me. Oh, love me for right now before you leave me. Oh, love me for right now. Oh, got one foot out the door. Oh, 'cause you don't need me anymore. Oh, got one foot out the door. Oh, 'cause you don't need me anymore. You don't need me anymore. You don't need me anymore. Just give me one more night, hold me like you're still mine. Oh, love me for right now before you leave me. I know it's gonna hurt watching your footsteps start. So love me for right now before you leave me. Oh, love me for right now before you leave me. Oh, love me for right now.
That was Alex Warren, Before You Leave Me. We're back, and it's time for today's Hot Off the Press, where from Monday to Friday we bring you two of the newest, hottest tracks from the world of music. And of course, a lot of songs get released every week, and we choose a couple each and every day that we hope you'll really enjoy. We'll start today with the new one from Flo Rida. This is called Friday. It's a catchy and upbeat song that celebrates the end of the work week and the excitement of the weekend. The chorus highlights the different days of the week, with Friday being the day to party hard. Bulgum, as we say here in Korea. The verses talk about the thrill of going out and having a good time after a long week of work, and the song conveys a carefree attitude and a desire to live life to the fullest. After that, Kygo, Zach Abel, and Nile Rodgers. Oh, there's my favorite name, Nile Rodgers. This is going to be funky, I bet. This one's called For Life. Norwegian DJ Kygo has teamed up with British singer and songwriter Zach Abel and American guitarist Nile Rodgers to release this new track. This marks the second collaboration between Kygo and Zach Abel since the 2020 Freedom collaboration. But Kygo and Zach Abel have worked with Nile Rodgers here for the first time. It's an interpolation of Mojo's 2000 Lady, Hear Me Tonight. Remember that club banger? Well, it gets revisited here. Here we go with our two tracks for Hot Off the Press today. Brand new from Flo Rida, Friday, and then Kygo, Zach Abel, and Nile Rodgers, For Life. Those are our two tracks for Hot Off the Press today. Kygo, Zach Abel, and Nile Rodgers, For Life. And before that, Flo Rida's new tune, Friday. My question for you today, what is a good tip to be a good tourist or a smart tourist? You can answer this question in two different ways. To be a good tourist, you could talk about, cultures and values and things like that. But to be a smart tourist, you could say, well, don't keep all your cash in your unzipped pocket or something like that. So you can answer this however you want. And the reason I'm asking you this question today, in hour number 2, we're going to talk about Hawaii and that beautiful staircase located in Oahu, mistreated by tourists, and as a result, they are going to remove it, and that is such a shame. That's why I'm asking you this question today. 좋은 관광객이 되기 위한 팁은 무엇인가요? Let's see what you say about this. MJ says, perhaps we should try to understand the local culture and their traditions as tourists. Yep, I absolutely 100% agree with you. And that reminds me of a mistake that I made in Thailand. I was traveling with my best friend, and we were simply sitting at a table an outside table at a bar. And so there were 4 chairs and only 2 of us. It was really hot outside, so I took off my flip-flops and I put my legs up and my feet up on one of the empty chairs. And the waitress came over and she said, "Excuse me, can you put your legs down, please? Can you put your feet down?" And I said, "Oh, of course, I'm sorry." And she said, "Actually, in Thailand, that's considered like a really kind of rude thing to do." I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Because I thought it was okay. If you do that in Canada and your feet are pointing towards somebody, that's not good behavior. But because it was an outdoor table and my feet were pointed out into like nowhere land, there was nobody around, I thought that would be okay. But I learned very quickly, do not do that in Thailand, because she explained, and she was so kind about it. She said, well, in Thailand, we believe that your feet are the bottom of your body, and that's a non-disputable fact, and therefore they're the dirtiest part of the body. And I said, oh, I got it, and I'm so sorry that I made that mistake. It was a great learning experience for me. I didn't make that mistake again. And MJ, that's exactly what you're talking about there. Learning as much as you can before you visit a place and find out what's okay and what's not okay can really help you to be a better tourist. Great answer, MJ. Thank you for it. That's what we're talking about today. So text me your answers, # 9050 for 101. Add us on Kakao Talk for free. Send messages for free by searching BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. Same search on your smartphone. Download the app from any of the app stores. Listen to our programs there and leave us a comment after logging in. Monday afternoon, and Casey's here. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm getting pumped up. It's Monday. Got my music behind me.
Yeah, right.
I'm ready.
Excited for the new. Excited that the air is cleaner now.
Yes. Man, I'm still coughing up whatever was going on through the air last,
yeah.
Lungs on fire.
Yes, exactly. Sounds like a Kings of Leon song, doesn't it?
It does.
Lungs on fire.
Lungs on fire.
What about you? What do you think? What's a good tip or a smart tip to be a good tourist or a smart tourist?
I think this is both. I'm going to give you one that I think works both ways. Don't expect what is normal in your country to be normal around the rest of the world.
Ooh, okay, that's a good one.
And you'll be good, both a good tourist and a smart tourist.
Any context for that? Did you make a mistake that way, or did you see somebody else making a mistake that way?
I've traveled quite a bit. I especially probably traveled mostly in Europe, and I don't know, just when you expect people to talk to you even a certain way. Let's say you go to like especially when you go to Eastern Europe. Okay, watch out for scams there, by the way. But when you go to a restaurant and you kind of expect your standard of service. I'm an American, and you kind of expect a waiter to smile and just kind of be kind. And it's not the same in every culture. And you got to realize, like, okay, maybe people do things a little bit differently where I'm going now, and just be ready for that. And I've seen people just be like so bummed out, like it ruined their trip or something. The service was just terrible.
Yeah, right, because your waiter or waitress didn't smile to you or at you the same way that they do when you go to a restaurant in your own town back home. So you make that assumption, oh, it must be the same service quality here or the same standard here.
Right.
And that's not always true. In fact, it's often not true.
I would say it's often not true. Even like when you check into a hotel in Eastern Europe, let's say, don't expect a smile. It's for real. And they're not angry. It's just this is how, culturally where they came from, their background, it's a little bit different than maybe where you came from.
Do you know something, though? And I apologize because we're digressing, but
no, it's okay.
I think this is interesting. After I moved to Korea and I got used to like the local restaurants in my neighborhood where I would go there and you kind of go in and, 안녕하세요 and like that, and you sit down and the workers kind of bring out the side dishes and stuff, but there's not it's not like over. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely not.
It's just they're working.
Right.
But in the United States and Canada is exactly the same. You walk into a restaurant and it's, hi, lovely to see you. It's just too. Now, I didn't realize how over the top it was until I went back to Canada.
Right.
And because they're working for tips.
Exactly.
Right?
And they're not in other countries. They're not doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So everything makes sense. And I'm not criticizing, Western culture, by
I
the
will.
way.
I'll criticize. I used to do that. I will criticize all day long. They don't tip you enough.
You don't like it?
No.
It is so over the top, though,
It is.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that until I went back to Canada. Anyway, I apologize for eating into your segment a little bit.
No.
Casey.
No pun intended.
It is time for today's Need to Know, and I'm curious to know what we're talking about today.
I want to talk about sleep. How'd you sleep last night? Pretty good?
Last night specifically?
Yeah.
Well, I sleep in blocks, don't I?
Oh.
So whenever I do sleep, I sleep quite well. I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
So you feel, when you wake up, you feel good, nothing aches, nothing sore.
I mean, I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, so I always complain that it's too early for the first 5 minutes, and then coffee goes in my mouth, and then I'm okay. But in terms of aches and pains, no, I'm still okay.
Nice. And like you don't feel like you're woken up suddenly in the middle of your sleep or anything. You don't feel like your sleep has been disturbed?
Oh, no, it does every night. I wake up hungry, and then I go to the kitchen and eat something, and then I immediately go back to sleep.
And you can fall back asleep?
Immediately.
What?
Yeah.
I think this just goes to show what works for you would not work for me. If I did that, I'd be up all night.
Oh, yeah.
If I would just turn on, some flicks or something and be like, yeah, I'm not going back to sleep.
If I feel any ounce of hunger, my brain won't let it go. I have to satiate that hunger first, and then I'm okay to go back to sleep.
Okay. Well, I think this is exactly what we're talking about here. Do you have a preference when you go to sleep? Do you purposely try to sleep on your back or on your right side or on your left side or
on my stomach?
Do you? Every night?
Stomach/side. I have very specific sleeping positions. So on my stomach with my head turned to the side, obviously.
Okay, yeah, right.
Face
Not
into
face
the
down.
pillow. And then one knee kind of brought up to my stomach. And one leg stretched out straight.
You sleep I think the term for that, I read in this article, what we're talking about is from National Geographic, by the way. The headline is sleeping on your stomach or back better? Here are some bedtime myths debunked. In this article, it's a very long article, so I can't talk about all of it. But I think you are classified as a flamingo.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah, because flamingos stand there with one leg up. Yeah, push over a flamingo, and that's how I sleep.
So basically what this article goes way into depth about the history of sleep study and specific sleep positions that people have. And there was somebody, I believe, in the 1970s who just started classifying people as a flamingo, and I can't remember the other ones as well, but yours definitely sounds like the flamingo.
Yeah, I can't sleep on my back. My wife sleeps on her back, and she always falls asleep first, and I feel like I'm at a funeral every single night. She's just laying there like it's
right.
Yeah, I cannot sleep like that.
I think I do, but here's the key. A lot of people kind of stress about this, and specifically what position you need to be in to fall asleep, right?
I do, yes.
But odds are, do you think you stay in that position all night?
No, I roll around inevitably.
Right.
But that's my starting spot.
Exactly.
If I'm not in my starting spot, I feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. And so, I think stress is something that sleep. Let me try that again. Sleep is something that stresses a lot of us out. And I think one of the things we worry about is what's the best position to sleep in? Or, am I in the right position? Am I comfortable? And they say in this article, if you're like most people, You assume your favorite position when you go to bed, but once you actually start sleeping, you're all over the place. Like, you shift in multiple positions. And if you wonder if there's an ideal way to sleep, which I do, I've actually read about this a lot. You're not alone. There's plenty of conflicting advice and dubious online information. I think I've found plenty of it myself. And they link sleep positions to all kinds of health benefits or health problems. And the market is apparently flooded with devices that promise to help to keep you from sleeping on your back like your wife does.
Oh, okay.
That's the one that people typically encourage not to do, is sleeping on your back. But I think I do too. I think I often just sleep on my back.
Well, what did they say about this here? Did they actually find an answer in terms of is one better than the other?
Nope. It turns out we have way less control over how we sleep than we think we do, and we might be better off not even trying to change it. That's the idea. And one of the people that talked in this article is Raman Malhotra, who's at the Washington University School of Medicine, who says sometimes there's more harm than good in trying to control your position. And, he says there's like certainly definite positions that are better for certain people. Like, let's say you got an injury. If you got injured your left leg or left arm, you obviously probably going to turn on the right side to compensate. But once you're actually sleeping, it can be really hard to try to change what you've been doing probably all your life. And controlling that is just like really difficult and might set you back even further.
So there's no need to retrain ourselves to come up with a new starting spot, because that's the thing. You just said it too, right? We all move and roll around, and I guess we do that from a super young age, right? It's just
probably,
it's how people sleep. It's how humans sleep. But that starting spot is nothing to be worried about.
No, and it's the reason I wanted to share this article is because I personally have kind of read a lot of information. Sleep on your left side, don't sleep on your right side, don't sleep on your back, don't sleep on your front.
Well, what's the reason people say don't sleep on your back?
Because there is actually a legit reason not to if you have sleep apnea. If you're somebody who has that, which basically means your airway collapses while you're sleeping at night and it wakes you up and you can't actually sleep. It sounds terrifying and it sounds terrible. And there are a lot of people who do have sleep apnea, so they do not need to sleep on their back. But most other people have no issues sleeping on their back whatsoever. And a lot of this information that we know comes from a guy named Joseph DeConnick, who's at the University of Ottawa. And he did this study like back, I would say late 70s, mid 80s, because he was using like a Super 8 camera to film people while they were sleeping, like stop motion style, and just seeing how often people turn their bodies and what different positions people get themselves into. It was a lot of new information that people didn't have. And it kind of like convinced him and other people as well, you know what? Your body's taking over. It has nothing to do. If you're a flamingo, it doesn't mean you're this kind of personality, or, it's not about psychology. Your body is probably naturally adjusting to what makes you comfortable.
Is there any particular position that might be more beneficial to us? Maybe like, I don't know, is there any spot where we should be headed towards if we do have a bad back or something like that?
Possibly, like if you do have some body pain, probably your body's going to adjust for you. Like that's the idea from their study and other studies since then. Your body's kind of taking care of you while you're sleeping because it's, your brain is for the most part doing other things and you're not conscious. So your body's kind of constantly adjusting.
You're right.
And the way you know you're not doing well is if you wake up after sleeping and you're like, oh, my body hurts. Then you know something went wrong.
And that happens sometimes too, right? You wake
sure.
up with a kink in your neck or something like that.
Sure.
Or in your shoulder blade. That one's really annoying.
If I try to sleep on a floor, if we get like an Ondo style hotel where there's not an actual mattress, forget about it.
You can't sleep on the floor?
I can't. My kids, they're little, so I'm sure they're a little more flexible than I am too, but they're out and snoring, and I'm just like, oh, please help me.
Interesting. We'll take a break, shall we? And we've got more coming up with Casey and today's Need to Know after this one. This is Griff, Vertigo.
wanted heights, that's vertigo. You wanted lights, go see a show. You ran away, that's touch and go. You're scared of love, well aren't we all, well aren't we all?
That was Griff with Vertigo, and we're in the middle of today's Need to Know with Casey. Before the break, we learned some good news, I guess. We don't really need to stress about our sleeping position or how we enjoy sleeping. I mean, I guess the key is if you're not sleeping well,
Right.
then, you know, you're going to have to address it, but that might be sleep position related, or it could be related to other things as well.
Seek a doctor's help in that case.
Have you ever used, I've always, of course, I've gone through times where I didn't sleep well and things
Sure.
like that, but I don't think I've ever had a real problem with it. But have you ever used any of those apps that kind of monitor that, you know, like, oh, you farted at 4:30 in the morning or something?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I never really learned too much about those apps, but
Yeah.
you haven't used them at all?
No, I did use some apps to like help me go to sleep. You know, if I like, maybe play some like ocean noise or something like that. It works.
Oh, it's amazing.
Puts me right out.
Yeah, I used to use those as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. What's your second story?
Well, do you recall a little while back we talked about the idea about pythons becoming a part of the menu? You remember this?
Yes.
Well, just to add to the variety of things we're going to have to eat in the future, this week I saw a headline that said, "Why camel milk could soon become the world's most essential drink." And this comes from the BBC Science Focus. So I was thinking, what do you think? Cereal, a bowl of cereal with some camel milk?
Maybe. I mean, I've never tried it
Me
before.
neither.
It doesn't, I mean, upon hearing those words next to each other, camel milk,
Yeah.
it doesn't strike any sort of fear in my heart, if that makes sense. Like, I don't
Sure.
have any reaction that goes, oh, no. I don't feel like that. So I have no idea what it tastes like or what the consistency is like.
Yeah, I guess milk is basically milk, right? All mammals like produce milk, right?
I've never had goat's milk either. Have you tried it before?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I'm pretty sure I have.
What's that taste like?
Well, if I had it, yeah, okay, so this would have been in Eastern Europe as well. And I have had raw cow's milk. It's all very strong. It's not what you're used to at the grocery store.
Like a non-pasteurized version?
Yeah. So goat milk, though, seemed mild from what I recall. And I definitely had goat cheese, and sheep's cheese is what is that? Feta, I believe, is usually from sheep or goats as well. It's all good, yeah. I mean, it's milk is milk, I'm pretty sure.
So what's going on here? Camel milk will be replacing cows. Is this going to be a necessity for us in the future?
Well, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense because of where camels live and what kind of climate they can put up with. So in that regard, yeah, according to the UN, actually camels already contribute about 8% of total milk production in sub-Saharan Africa. And market research there estimates that the global camel milk trade could exceed $13 billion by the end of this decade.
Wow.
Up from $1.3 billion in 2022. So that's 10 times, according to my math.
That's a massive increase.
That's a huge increase, right?
Yeah, that is huge growth. So is that expected within the African regions or globally?
Yeah, they're talking about globally. So they said already there's countries like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, which is, actually in Asia as well. And camel milk is already commonplace in grocery stores there. And investors are kind of seeing this as a good business opportunity, so they're starting to put money into new farms across that region. However, this article is from the BBC, so we're talking about the UK, right?
Yep.
So according to Dr. Ariel Ahern at the University of Oxford, by 2050, I know that's a long time away, but by 2050, it's possible we'll have more choice between cow's milk and camel milk in the UK. So there you go. Not just, Middle East, Central Asia.
Camels eventually replacing cows for milk purposes?
I mean, this is kind of where it gets into people arguing one way or the other. So the argument for camels possibly replacing cows is that climate change is causing global temperatures to rise, as some of us agree on.
Yeah.
And a lot of habitats across the planet are becoming inhospitable to life, and that includes cows, because cows need grass, right? At least they need grass or whatever else you feed them. And a lot of the places that are too hot for them. And forget about that. Not just that. There's not going to be water there. There's not going to be the temperature that cows need.
And camels can exist in arid climates.
You got it. Right? And they need much less water. And the food that they're designed to eat, that their bodies are designed to eat, is the food in those regions. They don't need grass. They don't need corn. They need desert plants, right? That's what they live off of. So according to another doctor, Kohler Rolfsson, cows are fine in Europe in a temperate climate, but where there are camels naturally, it's obviously better to use camels. And if most of the world is going to start look like desert, or,
then it makes more sense to have big camel dairy farms.
Kind of. This is where they disagree. So these two doctors in the article, they are not in favor of the idea of having these like super dairy farms that we currently have for cows because there's no need for that for camels. Camels are designed, they have these huge long legs, they can walk for hours, they can roam around the desert and find whatever plants are there. If you confine them, that kind of defeats their biological purpose. And whereas, a lot of the cow diseases we have these days are because we have to pump, antibiotics into cows all the time because they're confined. They can't go anywhere, right? So they're arguing against that, but there is already that movement to have these kind of super camel dairies, especially in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. And what they're doing in those cases is they're feeding the camels alfalfa flown from the United States. That kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, totally defeats.
Right, like if you're looking for greenhouse gas emissions to be reduced.
Yeah, let's fly it over on an airplane. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or on a ship that pollutes the oceans.
Exactly.
Interesting, though, in the sense that, it doesn't sound like cows are going to be replaced, but at least there are more options, I guess, which means the good news is we won't need more cows.
Right.
In the future.
And also we don't need to make them live in places that they're not accustomed to living in, or, we don't have to create these huge industrial farms in the middle of a desert and, have air conditioning running 24 hours a day for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely true. But that being said, the world's population continues to increase, which
True.
Means if we still depend on cows for food, then we are going to need more cows in the future, which means it's a whole big complicated mess.
Right.
That doesn't have a simple solution, that is for sure. Camel milk, though.
Yeah.
Look for it on your shelves soon.
Perhaps, right?
Oh, we got a message from someone who tasted camel milk.
Oh, cool.
In Saudi Arabia.
I bet it's fine.
And
they say it's healthier, actually.
Says it's not bad at all. It tastes a little bit sweeter than cow's milk, but pretty good overall.
So sweeter's okay with me. I'm okay with that.
Anything's better than almond milk. Have you tried almond milk?
I never have. It's no good?
Gosh.
It's really that bad?
It's like water with some, the carpet filings in it or something. This doesn't
Is
taste
that really
good.
gritty?
No, it's not gritty at all. It tastes like a carpet would taste. That's my experience. But that's not fair because people love almond milk.
There's like 5 people out there. Hey, my almond milk. How dare
exactly.
you?
It doesn't taste like that at all. It just doesn't taste good to me. All right, very good. Thank you, Casey. Always entertaining, always educational as well.
My pleasure.
Infotainment, as they say.
That's what we're here for.
Have a great week. We'll see you again next time.
Bye-bye.
Stay with me for hour number 2. It's Galantis to wrap the first 1, 2, and 3.
on Hatherly. 'Cause you're and counting up 1, 2, and 3. So I won't let you go. Your secrets will serve you and me. Like 1, 2, and 3.
부산 글로벌 도시재단은 세계 시민을 연결하는 네트워크로 도시 외교의 중추적 역할을 담당하고 글로벌 부산의 미디어 플랫폼인 부산 영어방송을 통해 영어하기 편한 도시 부산을 만들고 있습니다. 글로벌 허브 도시 부산, 그 중심에 부산 글로벌 도시재단이 있습니다.
Busan Global City Foundation leads the Global Hub City Busan.
나 정상훈, 밀당의 고수지만 등받이는 당겨 앉는 버스 매너. 운동기구에 묻은 땀은 꼭 닦아주는 헬스장 매너. 주차할 땐 선을 넘지 않는 주차장 매너. 어디서든 매너 있게, 매력 있게. 공공 매너를 지켜주세요. 공익광고협의회.
The time is now 3 o'clock.
You're listening to Steve Hatherly Reboot on BEFM 90.5. That was Sydney Rose, You'd Be Stars, and this song explores themes of connection and comfort and transformative power of love. The lyrics suggest a deep bond between two different individuals, and they express a desire to share secrets and find each other in all lifetimes. That's romantic, indicating a strong emotional connection. I like that tune. Sydney Rose, You'd Be Stars, to get us into hour number 2 of Steve Hatherly Reboot on this Monday afternoon. Thanks for hanging around. You're tuned in on BEFM 90.5 in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jongguan, and Noksan areas. In Seoul on TBS EFM 101.3 and in Gwangju on GFN 98.7. Again, thank you for staying with me for this second hour. Hour number 2 today, we're going to switch our focus over to Hawaii. Beautiful place. Have you been? I said in the first hour I've been there, maybe 3 times in total, but I've only been to the island of Oahu before. I would really love to go to Maui. If anyone's been to Maui before, can you please let me know of your experience while you were there? I've always had that on my bucket list of places to go, but I haven't gotten there just yet. But we're not talking about travel per se. Well, a little bit, I guess, through me, myself, and I. Let me talk about that first. For me, myself, and I chose this for a me, myself, and I story because it's about the segment is about human thinking or human behavior. And sometimes human behavior is bad, and that's exactly what's happened in Hawaii. The Haiku Stairs, that's a major Hawaii tourist attraction. It's going to be removed following some bad tourist behavior. I'll give you the details on that through that segment, Me, Myself, and I. So I thought, for our fun fact of the day, let's learn something a little mysterious about Hawaii, shall we? The Lady in White, have you heard? It's Hawaii's haunting legend of Pali Highway. I've been on that highway. I've driven on that highway before, but I only drove on that highway in the daytime. Thankfully. In fact, when I drove on that highway, I didn't know that was the road, the stretch of road where the Lady in White tends to appear. I first learned of this story a few years ago when my guest Jonah from my previous show told this story on air. And I was kind of so taken with it that I thought if we're talking about Hawaii today, I'd like to share this as well, just in case you didn't know. And later when we get there, I'll tell you where that highway is. And if you go to Oahu and you rent a car and go, you go to drive around the island a little bit, you're probably going to be on this highway. So there's another good reason for you to, well, maybe you don't want to know. I was going to say that maybe there's another good reason for you to know this story, but perhaps it's a good reason to not know this story. Anyway, it's interesting, and that'll be our fun fact of the day. After that, after Me, Myself, and I, then we'll do Perfect Playlist, where we have the best songs for every situation. And I will check your messages throughout hour number 2 as well. Question of the day today, since we're talking about bad tourist behavior in Hawaii, I thought, why don't we get some good tips? What's one good tip to be a good or smart tourist? 좋은 관광객이 되기 위한 팁은 무엇인가요? What do you think about that? Ben says the best way to be a tourist is to not be a tourist at all. It's better to be traveling there short term as a resident, living the life of the locals at every destination you go to, no matter whether that is close or far. What a wonderful luxury that would be, huh? To travel the world and stay there for maybe, I don't know, what do you think? 1 month at a time? 2 months? 1 month feels like maybe not long enough, I guess, because when we go on vacation, it's typically for 1 or 2 weeks, and that doesn't really give us an opportunity to learn too much. So an extra 2 weeks, maybe not enough. I'm going to say 3 months. If you can move to a place and live there for 3 months, I think you could get a pretty good idea of what it's like to, just a little tiny idea of what it's like to live in that place and get a taste of the culture as well. That's also why I prefer to do a home rental as opposed to a hotel if I can. It allows you to stay in a different part of the city or a different part of the area that might not have big hotels, it also makes you feel like, I'm talking about Airbnb, it also makes you feel like you're home a little bit, as opposed to, I mean, don't get me wrong, hotels are amazing and I love those too. It's just that helps out with that feeling, if that's the feeling that you're looking for. Anyway, what's my tip on how to be a good tourist or a smart tourist? Well, I think if you keep this in mind, Casey and I were chatting about this, and he was saying, oh, he's from the United States, and he knows that a lot of American tourists are loud. And I said, hey, when Canadian tourists go on vacation, they make mistakes too. I've done it myself. I talked about the story in Thailand, although, you know, sometimes when we make mistakes, those are innocent mistakes, right? But I think a good thing to keep in mind is that when you are traveling to a different country, if people become aware of where you are from, well, then you are automatically an ambassador for your country, right? If I'm traveling and people know that I'm Canadian, well, then suddenly I feel like a diplomat in a sense, because if I behave poorly, then that opens the door to generalizations about Canada or Canadians. Do you know what I mean? If I go to anywhere, if I go to Australia, for example, and I behave poorly and people know, oh, you're Canadian, people might think, Canadians are really rude because this one guy was rude. It's not a fair assessment. But it's possible, right? So my point is, when we go on vacation, if we can remember that we are ambassadors for our own countries, then that might make us good tourists, I think. So maybe when we go on vacation, be even more polite than you are in your own spot, and take care of other people even better than you would where you're from. I always think that's a good idea. And I think that's a good idea for expats as well, not just tourists, but for expats. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that topic. Send me your thoughts, pounder sharp 9050 for 101. You can text me. You can also add us on Kakao Talk for free and send messages for free by searching BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. Same search on your smartphone. You can download the app from any of the app stores. You can listen to our programs there and leave us a comment after logging in. All right, let's get to our expression for today. It's from King the Land, and this is a good one. I want to focus more on the English today than I do on the Korean. The sentence that we hear in the drama, we're going to hear the clip in just a sec, is from a scene where they're sitting at a table having a meeting. It's all the hotel staff and the head of the hotel. And he's saying to them, don't work hard, don't try hard. You're wasting your time. And she, the woman who just got sent there, the main character, she said, yeah, but I still have passion for this job. And he said, hey, you got sent here. And this is what he says next.
네가 누굴 믿고 이렇게 까부는지 알겠는데.
네가 누굴 믿고 이렇게 가부는지 알겠는데. All right, that's a long and difficult sentence. We're going to make it a lot easier in Korean, and we'll learn about the English as well. So, 네가 is you, 누굴 믿고, believe someone, trust someone, count on someone. 이렇게, like this. 가부는지, acting up. 알겠는데, I thought or I believed. All right, so let's change that grammar around, and this is what the sentence translates to. You must be acting up, counting on a certain someone. Now, again, that sentence is too long, so let's take out some learning points here. Both in English and in Korean. All right, so the English I want to take out is to act up, and the Korean I want to take out is 까불다. Let's start with the Korean. 까불다 means naughty or playful or cheeky or grumpy. It can mean a couple of different things depending on the context of the situation. But in this context, I love the translation. The translation was to act up or misbehave. So let's give an example in Korean. A really simple sentence example. 까불지 마. Now you can say this sentence seriously, or you can use it playfully as well. Seriously, maybe a teacher to some students. If the students are misbehaving in the class, the teacher can say, "야, 얘들아, 까불지 마. Stop acting up. Stop acting up." Or you can use it playfully as well with your partner. If your partner's kind of teasing and being a little bit silly, then you can say, "야, 까불지 마," like that. Okay, so one example serious, one example playful, and you can use it in both of those ways. Now, let's talk about the English. Act up. There's a couple of different ways you can use this, and the number one way is misbehave, like the children are acting up. Please stop acting up. Stop misbehaving. But there's another way that you can use this as well, and this is in reference to your health. I chose this expression because it's allergy season right now, right? So, with all of the pollen in the air and the yellow dust, last week was really bad. And if you feel like, oh gosh, my sinuses are driving me crazy because of my allergies, then here's what you can say. My allergies are acting up. We use this about our health when suddenly one of your conditions has become a little bit bad. Now, there's a difference. This has to be something that has bothered you before or regularly bothers you. For example, if I just hit my finger, for example, I have no problems with my fingers. These days, no problem. 5 years ago, no problems. I've never had any problems. But suddenly, ow! I cannot say my finger is acting up. But let's say I have arthritis in my fingers or in my wrists, and then sometimes it's okay. But when it's bad, then I can say my arthritis is acting up. I'll give you another example. Let's say you have a bad back. Now, your bad back, it doesn't bother you 24 hours a day, right? Somebody might be saying, yes, it does. I know what you mean, but usually it's not 24 hours a day. When your back becomes really bad, then you can say, today's not good. My back is acting up. So there you go. Hopefully that helps out your English. It's a really native English speaker style of speaking when you use it like that. So a couple of different ways that you can use act up. All right, so in Korean, 가불다, your sentence, very, very simple, right? 가불지 마, stop acting up, stop misbehaving. You can use that seriously, or you can use it playfully. And in English, act up, the other way you can use it is about your health, like some sort of existing condition that you've had before, when that condition is kind of bothering you now. In Korean, the sentence was 네가 누굴 믿고 이렇게 까부는지 알겠는데. Let's hear it one more time.
네가 누굴 믿고 이렇게 까부는지 알겠는데.
Tough sentence today, I know. But hopefully we found a couple of things in there to help out your English or your Korean, depending on which one you are learning, if not both. We'll have a break, and when we come back, we will learn about the Lady in White, Hawaii's haunting legend of Pali Highway. Here is Ryan Beatty, Bruises Off the Peach. That was Ryan Beatty, Bruises Off the Peach. And now it's time for our fun fact of the day. And we're going to learn about the Lady in White, Hawaii's haunting legend of the Pali Highway. Now, let me tell you where this Hawaiian highway is first. So on the island of Oahu, it's highway number 61. And Honolulu, if you've been to Honolulu before, Honolulu is in the south. And this is the highway that cuts straight across the island from Honolulu to the other side. So if you're going to drive up to the North Shore, then you're staying in Honolulu, then one of your options is to drive straight across the island to the other side and then drive up the coast. And that's why I said before, I think this is a really, really common highway for tourists to drive on because it gives you direct access to all of that beautiful coastline, and you can drive all the way, almost all the way from the southern part of the island to the northern part of the island, all the way up the coast. That is the Pali Highway, Highway 61. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to drive across the highway. And the reason I shared that with you is because that is the location of our story for today. For our fun fact, it's a mystery. The Lady in White, Hawaii's haunting legend of Pali Highway. The Lady in White is a well-known ghost story that haunts the Pali Highway on the island of Oahu, Hawaii. The legend tells of a beautiful woman dressed in a white gown who appears to drivers on foggy nights, often causing them to lose control of their vehicle. Her tragic story has been passed down through generations and continues to intrigue and terrify people to this day. According to legend, the Lady in White was a newlywed who was driving on the Pali Highway with her husband when they got into a terrible accident. Her husband was killed in the crash, and she was thrown from the car and died shortly after. Her spirit is said to remain on the highway, searching for her lost love. The Lady in White is said to appear to drivers on foggy nights, often standing in the middle of the road or by the side of the highway. Some have reported seeing her waving for help or even trying to get into their car. Others have reported hearing her ghostly screams and feeling a sudden chill in the air. Many drivers who have encountered the Lady in White have reported losing control of their vehicle or experiencing mechanical issues with their car. Some believe that her ghostly presence is responsible for these incidents, warning drivers to be careful on the treacherous stretch of road. Despite the eerie nature of the legend, there is no concrete evidence to support the existence of the Lady in White or her tragic story. However, the legend has become a part of Hawaii's cultural heritage and continues to captivate residents and visitors alike. So, that's the story of the Lady in White. Now, let me tell you what my guest, my friend Jonah, said on my show before. So he told this similar story, and then he said, and I've experienced this. I met her. And I said, yeah, but what do you mean you met her? He said, I was on the Pali Highway. I was driving one night, and the car stopped, and because I saw her, she was standing in the middle of the road, and she got into the car. I said, what do you mean she got into the car? He said, this is a common thing. She gets into the car. That was in the story that I told, right? Many people who said they have encountered her report her trying to get into their car. He said she sat in the back seat, and he said she likes to smoke. People in Hawaii they know if she gets in your car, you're supposed to offer her a cigarette. This is what people in Hawaii do. So she's sitting in the back of his car, but Jonah doesn't smoke. So he just looked in the mirror and looked in the rearview mirror, and he said, I'm sorry, I don't smoke. And of course, she didn't say anything because she's a ghost. he started to drive, and then a little bit later, he looked in the mirror. She was gone. And he swears this is a true story. He swears by it. He says it's not a joke. People in Hawaii, they believe this. And so many people have said that they've met her. So if you are going to Hawaii and you are going from Honolulu to the opposite coast, do it in the daytime. That would be my recommendation, because at night, who knows, you might encounter the lady in white. That is today's fun fact. We'll stay in Hawaii when we come back for Me, Myself, and I. This is Briston Maroney, Sunshine. That was Briston Maroney with Sunshine, and now it's time for Me, Myself, and I. And I said we were going to stay in Hawaii for this segment today because of some bad tourist behavior, unfortunately. A picturesque staircase leading to a Hawaiian beauty spot is being torn down as tourists continued to access the off-limits site. The Haiku Stairs, it's an Oahu landmark, often called the Stairway to Heaven. It's going to be removed removed at the end of April, according to a press release from the Honolulu city government. So it's happening maybe within the next week or so. I can promise you that this was not a capricious decision. That's a quote from Mayor Rick Blangiardi. He said that in a statement to the media. But there have been issues with the stairs. The history goes back to World War II when the stairs were built by the U.S. Navy. And they've been officially closed to the public since 1987, but there's still been an issue. So it's not like you were able to access these stairs as of late, but still people were doing it illegally. The stairs themselves are comprised of 3,922 steps twisting through a 2,800-foot mountain trail. It's in eastern Oahu, and it's absolutely beautiful. If you look on the internet at images, it's just so picturesque. And to be fair, you can understand why people who are looking to upload images and videos to their social media, you can understand why they want to do this. Illegal, yes, but I'm not saying it's justified. I'm just saying I understand why they want to do it. It's dangerous terrain, but even still, YouTubers and TikTokers and thrill seekers and other tourists, they continued to access the stairs, and that's why they're having to be removed. Due to rampant illegal trespassing, the stairs is a significant liability and expense for the city and impacts the quality of life for nearby residents. That's a quote from a Honolulu City Council member. The council, they voted on it in 2021, and it was a unanimous decision. Remove the stairs. Work, once they start, if they haven't already, will take at least 6 months, and it's going to cost $2.5 million to remove these stairs. The decision that was made was predicated upon respect for the people who live in and around the entrance to the stairs, our respect for the land, our respect for the sea, and our respect for both the future and the past history of the culture of the community here. According to a release, a range of factors influence the decision. The stair removal prioritizes public safety, seeks to stop illegal trespassing on the stairs and nearby neighbors who have dealt with decades of disruptions and disturbances. It addresses significant liability for the city. It preserves the natural beauty and condition of the area, and it improves the quality of life for neighborhood residents in the area as well. I get it, and I think it's a good decision. I'm surprised it's going to cost that much. Why is it costing $2.5 million? That's a lot of money. But anyway, I support the decision to remove it because it's a temptation, isn't it, for social media users and for influencers. You get the two sides of one coin, don't you? You get the thrill of doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, so you're going to get views for doing that, and then the natural beauty of it as well. So it's dangerous for the people who are accessing it, but also for the community. That's super annoying, isn't it? You know, people are accessing the stairway illegally, creating a tremendous amount of disruption in the community as well for the people who live in the immediate area. So I get it. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I guess that's why it was a unanimous decision to remove the stairs back in 2021. That was when the vote came, though, 2021. So this has been a while to get around to completing the project, but it's going to start now, like I said, if it hasn't started already, and it'll be done within the next 6 months. It's just a shame, though, don't you think? It's just a real shame that bad tourist behavior caused this. But removing the temptation will absolutely solve the problem, because if there's no access, well, then nobody will be able to go there, curious or not, right? Anyway, that is today's Me, Myself, and I. Let's all remember to behave ourselves when we travel to different spots, to different places, respecting the culture, respecting the people, and respecting the landscape as well. I'll come back with Perfect Playlist after Sarah Kay's Picture of You. was Sarah Kay's very pretty song, Picture of You. And now it's time for Perfect Playlist. And if you need the perfect song for every situation, we've got you covered. And it's Monday today, and that means it's a brand new theme for this week for Perfect Playlist. And this week, the theme will be songs about falling in love unexpectedly. Love can come at us when we least expect it. That's the fun time, right? When you least expect it. These moments of unexpected love can feel like a whirlwind, sweeping us off our feet and changing everything in an instant. Many artists know this feeling all too well, which is why there are a million songs about falling in love unexpectedly. It'll be easy to find songs for you this week. So let's start with this. Albert Posis, Serendipity. Serendipity is an upbeat track that tells how dance encounters, chance encounters, and who knows, maybe dance encounters can lead to unexpected love. The song also adds a depth of emotion by acknowledging that serendipity isn't truly random, but rather a result of the universe's plan. Was that not a John Cusack film? Serendipity. I think it was, and a good one at that. After that, Haley Reinhart, Can't Help Falling in Love. Some classic songs never lose their charm, and Elvis Presley's Can't Help Falling in Love is one of them. But Haley Reinhart's cover gives it a whole new meaning. Her version transforms this classic into a soulful ballad perfect for those who unexpectedly fall in love. The soft, dreamy tune and Reinhardt's angelic voice make this song a favorite for brides-to-be, bringing to life the magic of unexpected love. Two songs for you under the theme of songs about falling in love unexpectedly. Our theme for this week's Perfect Playlist, Albert Posis, Serendipity, Haley Reinhart, Can't Help Falling in Love.
You came out of nowhere.
Haley Reinhardt, Can't Help Falling in Love. And before that, Albert Post's Serendipity. And we have time to sneak in just one last track before we say goodbye this afternoon. And it's from the Shrek 2 soundtrack. It's the Counting Crows, Accidentally in Love. That was the Counting Crows from the Shrek 2 soundtrack, and it made me curious listening to that song. Are they going to make another Shrek movie? And I just did a quick search, and this is what I found. The prospects of a new Shrek movie starting production in 2023 strongly suggest that Shrek 5 won't hit the big screens until late 2024 or 2025 at the earliest. And I had no idea that there were 4 Shrek films out there already. I thought maybe 2 at the most. Apparently I have a couple of Shrek movies to catch up on. Anyway, there's your Shrek movie update before we finish up today. That'll do it for Steve Hatherly Reboot for this afternoon. Thank you very much for giving me a couple of hours of your afternoon today. Thank you to Casey for today's Need to Know. Thank you to you, as always, for your listenership and your participation. I've been your host, Steve Hatherly, and today I'll let you go away with this one. It's Joe Cocker's Unchain My Heart. It's the live version of that. So enjoy that, enjoy your day, and we'll reboot again tomorrow.
Unchained.
your bridge to the world. BFM 부산 영어방송.
부산의 축제 어디까지 즐겨보셨나요? 과거와 현재, 미래가 공존하는 항구도시 부산. 이곳 부산은 계절을 물들이는 다양한 축제로 늘 풍성합니다. 봄의 시작을 알리는 봄꽃 축제부터 부산의 여름을 만끽하는 바다축제, 전 세계 영화인들이 모이는 부산국제영화제와 새로운 시작의 해맞이 축제까지